Hi everybody, this is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Please don't be my neighbor. That's what targeted individuals. That's a song for TIs, for anybody who knows what I mean. Click the bell, click the notification, leave me a comment down below. This is, well, two purposes. I wanted to say hi. I know the last couple of videos have been shorts because I was a little preoccupied with what was going on here and taking care of the animals, etc., etc. I had ordered a lawnmower, and of course, they sent me the wrong one. It had been sitting here for a month, and it was finally picked up yesterday. But how's everybody doing? It's breezy, it's cool. We actually had some chemtrails in the sky this morning and yesterday, which is really surprising. We haven't seen any in a really long time, which means we have not had rain. And no, we haven't had any rain at all. And I don't know what this is. This is a stick I'm finding on the floor here. But let me know where you are. What's the weather doing by you? I received an alert this morning that the temperatures are going to drastically drop into the 30s. So we're going to have frost. I'm going to have to harvest whatever I have left, which I started to do. I started to take in some tomatoes, some cherry tomatoes, and I planted them really late. And they finally fruited, but they're all green. So I started taking some in because there are so many of them. And they'll ripen on the kitchen counter. I mean, that's something that you guys can do too. But I wanted to show you, I've been cleaning out the wash basins because we haven't had a lot of rain to kind of wash them out, and there was a lot of algae. So I washed this one out. I filled it with nice clean water. And then there was one over here. This actually, Travis Sparks built this building. It was called the doctor's office. It was called Dr. Quack. And there's really nothing left in there, not that much reminiscent of the doctor's office. I had a lot of things removed. There were a lot of bug infestations and stuff. I don't know if you can see, I'm going to expand this so you can see the roof right up there. It's completely open. So any little varmints and critters and dust and leaves can get in there. So everybody's saying, oh, you've got all those buildings you can fill up or somebody could live in there. No, not really. They're not watertight. They're not airtight. There's no insulation, et cetera, et cetera. They weren't meant to live in, although somebody who's handy can certainly make them livable. So if anybody's out there, need a place to live and you want to fix up a building to live in, I've got quite a few of them. So I'd be happy to have you. This is Eastern Kentucky, by the way. But I want to show you some of the other vandalism. So I was cleaning out the wash basins like this one. And we've got a little entourage here saying hello. And then I emptied this one and I noticed the vandalism here. And I have to preface this. People are going to say, oh, well, it's an old wash basin. I'm sure it was in bad shape. Nobody knew the former owner and how meticulous he was about his belongings. And the fact that a lot of these items were not outside. I brought them outside. This wash basin was in mint condition inside of a building that he labeled like the washroom. And he had all these old wash basins in there. So I took it out, and it was not dented. And I spray painted it white. And this is what it looks like. So these people, they kick things, they bend things, scrape, intentionally rust, which they did here. They intentionally rust the tops so that when water is in here, it's not as drinkable. But I want to show you that this doesn't happen naturally, folks. This is their telltale sign. You know, these malignant narcissists, they have to leave their signature. They have to leave a mark on whatever it is that they damage. So they leave behind a lot of evidence, but our local sheriff, he doesn't investigate anything. He doesn't even report the crimes here. And for those people out there that have asked me, well, who is involved in the stalking? Who is involved in the vandalism? Are the police involved? Somebody asked me on Quora, and I said, yes, the police are involved. Not all of them, but some of them are, and at varying levels. They're also told a slanderous, lying campaign, a defamatory campaign, because they want the cops to be angry at you. They want them to disbelieve you. They want them to participate. And some of them do it willingly. Some of them don't have to be bribed. Some of them are very sadistic. A lot of them hate women. The misogynist. And I had somebody send me a really interesting message on Quora, Quora. It is a forum where people post questions and others post answers. So there was a question that I responded to, and I received a response. And the response was, many of the police were involved in satanic families, satanic ritual abuse. Many of them are transgendered secretly. Some of them know that they are transgendered and do not report it, to the police department, while others are secretly transgendered at birth and may not be aware of it. That holds a lot of significance, folks. Just a lot, because from what I understand, and I know this personally, because years and years ago I dated a man who is now a woman. So I know very well what they go through and then what they continue to do to their bodies to turn them into the opposite sex. But doing it as a child is significantly different than making the choice as an adult. And when I say adult, I mean like after the age of 21, 23. That's an adult. It's not 18. The brain is still developing between the ages of 21 and 23. And as you know, teenagers do the stupidest stuff. They just do. They don't have the best judgments many times. They'll look back on it years later and say, like, I can't believe I did that. So this is what the criminals did to this once new wash basin. It's dented. You can see clearly it's dented, like kicked in. It's dented here, and it's intentionally scratched. Right? It's intentionally damaged in a pattern. Because the criminals have to leave their marks. So here it is a little bit more. But I just wanted to document this also. I think the documentation helps a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that don't know what's going on, and I was one of them. I was one of those people for years. I was so busy. I was going to school full-time as an adult learner in my 50s, right? I was traveling back and forth to my daughter's university because the first 2 years she wasn't permitted to have a vehicle there. There was no way for her to get home back and forth, so I was driving there for 2 years. I had my own business, several businesses, and then I had a cat rescue. So, when your life is that full, you don't pay attention or don't overly focus on some strange, bizarre things that are happening in your house, because since I was living there for 30 years as the original owner, I knew what I put into that house and what I didn't. But what I thought was really bizarre was that some of my beautiful vintage Chinese carpets were suddenly falling apart. They were being scraped and shaved. One I actually had to throw away, and I was shocked because it was beautiful. And then there were other brand new rugs that I bought when I wanted to list my house for sale. And I went to wash one day, and I saw that underneath it was completely sliced, like with a knife. And speaking of knives, I had a beautiful knife, a Cutco, C-U-T-C-O, in New Jersey. And they want to make it appear as if somebody else is doing it. So I had a volunteer who was helping me with the cats. And she was constantly in the kitchen cleaning things and, after the cats and stuff. And my knife disappeared. This is a $63 knife, folks. And it was new. It disappeared. I figured, did she use it? Did she steal it? And it makes you suspicious of the people in your house because you don't think that anyone else has been in there. You don't know that your house is being systematically broken into on a very regular basis when you're not there. That things are being moved around, stolen. And for the folks out there that have read the gang stalking manual, they say that these stalkers are only allowed to take small valued items. Now, a small valued item to me is under $10 or $15. That's not what happens, folks. I've had thousands and thousands of dollars in items stolen from me. That knife was $63. That's not a small valued item. I've had jewelry stolen, handbags, designer handbags that are $200, $300, $400. And no, they're not mine. They were donated to me to fundraise for my rescue, for my eBay store, to sell them on my eBay store. And they were stolen, including some designer clothes that were given to me by my cousin, who wears gorgeous clothes. And she said, here, sell these and, raise money for your cat rescue. So I had beautiful designer jackets. These are $800 jackets, stolen. They would just disappear. I had a Disney, the Aristocrats. I had a lithograph framed in a beautiful frame. I mean, the frame alone cost me a couple $100. But I had a Disney collection for my daughter. This is before I knew Disney was a pedophile. But it was stolen. I was painting and moved everything into my dining room. And that lithograph, the Aristocrats, was stolen off the dining room table. And then my daughter's Breakfast Club poster, which was like 4 feet by 4 feet, framed, that was stolen also. That was in New Jersey. So no, these people do not take low valued items. I mean, as I mentioned on my last video, I had brand new in the box earmuffs from Battle Box that were valued at $79.99, stolen from my house. These are not small valued items, and cumulatively, it's a lot of money. If somebody's taking something from you, even if it's valued at $10 a day, right? At the end of the year, you've got over $3,000 stolen from you. And I will assert, like in New Jersey, I have been asset stripped more than $300,000 in New Jersey with $4,000 in cash and more in personal belongings. And I cannot put a value on animals. I will never put a value on them. They're irreplaceable. It's like somebody coming and stealing your child. How do you put a value on somebody kidnapping your child? But that's what these criminals do. So to answer your question, folks, yes, the police are involved. Not all of them. The sheriff's department is involved. They're either complicit in turning the blind cheek or they participate. In Manalapan, New Jersey, they participated. They were paid. It was their side hustle. And in Manalapan, New Jersey, the chief of police, the sergeant, the lieutenant, the deputies, 2 detectives, the regular police officers, they were all involved. On me alone, there were at least 10. At least that I'm aware of. And that would be, I don't remember how many they had. Maybe they had 38 officers. At one time there were more. I don't know. I don't remember. The EMS workers are involved. They get mental health workers involved. Lawyers. Psychiatrists. Yes, the sellouts. Psychiatrists and psychologists. I'm not one of them. But as you know from my video a couple of days ago, that I had a doctor appointment, a Zoom appointment, with, I guess, a considerably well-known, maybe some people think he's well-known, a doctor that was recommended to me by a fellow TI, I think is targeted. I don't know. I wouldn't know. And it was back in April. I was charged $500. No follow-ups. I never got the report that we discussed. I never received an invoice. And then I sent him specimens that he agreed to investigate under his microscope. He claims that he got them on one day. My tracking shows that he got them another day. There were 13 days in between when he claims to have received them and what the tracking shows. I've sent him subsequently 3 emails, and then the person who recommended him, I sent her the information. I haven't heard from either one of them. So far I've had only one person ask me for his information, and I will readily give it to anybody that asks. Because nobody should be booking appointments with this man. He's got enough money living in a $3-4 million home, side businesses, books, and stealing money from targeted people like myself. But I've got a UPS delivery, folks. I'm going to sign off for now. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading.